All right. Well, to start off, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
So I was born and raised in Northern California and got the opportunity to get a job in the fire service as a teenager in the city where I grew up. And so I did that, and I ended up staying there for 32 years before I moved on to a different agency in the San Francisco Bay Area where I was the fire chief. And then I eventually left there after some transitions there as well. I left there and ended up in Southern California at the city of Coronado as the fire chief, where I retired in 2021. I've been married to my wife since 1989, and we have two adult children, twins that were born in 1990, and we now have four grandchildren. So that's kind of where life is at for me.
Wow, I didn't realize that you joined the fire service when you were just a teenager. That's a long time.
Yeah, so I things were different in the early 1980s. I'll say that. But I had the opportunity to join the fire service as an explorer scout in 1979 when I was 14 and a half, 14 years old. And that was the opportunity where people started to bring me under their wings and teach me about what was important about the fire service and what was important about life. And I got a lot of life lessons from those folks. And then 2 years later, the department had this program where they used young people to do their dispatch work for them. So I was hired. I was a junior in high school, and I worked on nights and weekends. And I went to work if it was a weekday on my shift fell. I went to work at 5 o'clock at night, worked overnight, did my homework at work, went to bed about 9 o'clock, woke up if there was an emergency phone call, and took the information and dispatched the units, and then went back to sleep when the call was over, and got up in the morning and went to school. And then on the weekends, if my shift was on a weekend, I actually worked a 24-hour shift at the station in the dispatch center. And so I did that for several years, and then they gave me a job as a firefighter, and I started my journey up through the ranks. Ended up going to paramedic school at some point, becoming a paramedic, promoted to captain, promoted to battalion chief in that organization. And then, with some encouragement from the fire chief at the time, I pursued the fire chief's job in the city of Benicia and got that job.